His mom's friends, several of which drive their children to school directly because the pickup times they were given with an 8:45 start time have been 6:45, 7 a.m., 6, I think the earliest I heard once was like 6:30, which is crazy. None of us are going to put our special needs kid on the bus at 6:30. So I just would really like some assurance for our exceptional learners, both in the preschool and at the elementary level, that busing will be guaranteed. My little 3-year-old currently is on the bus for about 45 minutes. I'm not opposed to him going early. I just want to make sure that my 3-year-old is now not going to be riding the bus for an hour and 45 minutes. So that was my feedback, and I know those are logistical problems that can all be looked at, but I just wanted to make sure that they were seen, especially as a mom of a kid on the early end of the district, looking at what this is going to look like for my children over the next course. I would just like some guarantees that we aren't going to get flipped and flipped and flipped and flipped every year, and like I said, have a 7:30 start time from stage 12 in my entire career. So thanks.
Hi, my name is Carolyn Zucchini, and I have a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old, and I actually think this is a great thing because having a teenager and the amount of homework that she has, whereas my 9-year-old does not have any homework, she could really use that extra hour of sleep in the morning. And as far as going to bed, they just need to go to bed at the exact same time. There doesn't give them automatic permission to stay up an extra hour. So that needs to be policed by the parents, I really believe. And I know it's hard. I was a victim of the redistricting, and I was very angry about that. And it's costing us money and time as well, because now we have to carpool with parents and try and get our kids to school. And it's just the cost of being in a large school district. And I just think this is a really good move. I really do.
Hi, I'm Sarah Squire. I have 2 daughters who are at Riverside, an 8th grader and a 6th grader. All 3 of us, and both of their dads, strongly support the change to a flipped schedule. I was going to start by talking about some of the scientific research, but I thank you all for the wonderful outline that you've given. I did want to mention a few other concerns that I think are important to keep in mind. I know that we've spoken a little bit about the concerns about flipping the schedule and how that might impact on sports in our high schools. And I agree, sports are fantastic and very important for kids. My daughters and I are all second-degree black belts. No one can speak more enthusiastically about what athletics will do for children than the 3 of us can. They're also very enthusiastic students of the arts, however. At Riverside, show choir and speech and debate meet before school, before the 7:35 start time. So kids who want to participate in show choir or speech and debate need to be at school at 6:35, an additional few days a week. If you're meeting with the Gay Straight Alliance, if you're meeting with any number of other non-sports activities, those meetings all happen before school. That means getting my teenagers up at 5:30 in the morning so I can drive them to school and have them there by 6:35. So the flipped schedule may allow for different schedules for other extracurriculars and would not just change sports teams. Sports are important, we have to keep them in mind, but that's not the only consideration. The other bit of information I wanted to mention that hasn't been mentioned here is there's a strong scientific correlation between a reduction in traffic accidents during the before and after school commute and later start times for high schoolers. I don't want to be putting my high school kids in cars to drive to high schools when they're low on sleep and they're groggy and they're not ready to drive. That scares me and it ought to scare all of us. So I'm a big fan of the
My name is Chrissy Pearson, and I have a 5th grader and a 3rd grader, so mine will start in high school. But having the starter late time doesn't mean kids are going to go to bed any earlier and get any more sleep. They're just going to say, I don't need to go to bed early because I can sleep later. It's not going to help for that. Putting little kids outside when it's dark, even at 7, it's still kind of dark, is a concern for my kids. They're little still.
I agree with you. My name is Manur Thakur, I have 2 kids. One is a 16-year-old, one is 12-year-old. in HSE high school and in junior high. And I constantly see how much they have to do their homework, and I saw some of the jobs, I missed them up for myself. And I saw 94% or 96% are stressed about homework. And I see my child sleeping every day at 12 o'clock, every day. So now if you move the schedule by 1 hour, he's going to sleep at 1 o'clock. But I may have missed it, but I think that study research on 8.5 hours sleep may be in isolation, because nobody talks about homework in terms of how much homework they're getting per day. For example, today was a day off, and guess what? You got all homework. Because today, okay, you guys are day off, go do homework. They didn't rest and relax and enjoy the day, but they were doing homework. My son is doing homework for 4 hours this evening. Because why? Because the teacher on strike today. So that's not balanced with the research you're showing. Secondly, the deadline for giving homework is midnight 59.59 p.m. It's not at 2 o'clock, it's not 3 o'clock in the morning. So when the child comes home at 4 o'clock and after has after school activities, he starts to come home at 7 o'clock. Then when is he to his studies? From 7 to 11 o'clock, when he's going to have dinner, when he's going to have shower, when he's going to relax, or watch some TV. We all need downtime. So now, 11 p.m., the time comes to submit homework, and that is not being pushed back. For example, this physics homework was due the same day when you got the homework. So that is not being balanced by the new requirement. Either you do the homework the following week, or you can give a couple of days to finish the homework. I've gone to school myself, I never got homework the same day I was due that evening, the same time on Friday evenings. I've seen my child do homework 11:59 p.m. on Friday evening. But that is statistic. That could be statistic, in my opinion. Have you worked at 12:59 p.m. at your job in this school district as a parent or in the office? I work in graduate school overnight. That's my job that I do that. But are you forced to work at 11:59 p.m.? No, that is wrong. So when you put this on top of that, guess what? The kid is going to crash, or he's going to fail, or he's going to quit. First, it's suicide. What effort was for 8.5 hours sleep? He's not going to get 8 hours sleep. He's going to sleep only for 5 hours. So that's my point.
My name is Sherry, and I'm both a teacher and parent in the district, and a coach's wife too, so I have that. I mean, there's so many things going on wrong here, but I'm shocked by the 94%, and that's a whole other issue, even as a teacher, that's ridiculous. But anyway, I would be interested to see you repeat your survey with Noblesville and Westville students, just to see if their sleep answers and their behavioral answers have changed or are different from our students, if their early start times and ours not. And then the same study that we've referenced for our adolescent sleep times, that same study recommends 9 to 12 hours of sleep for our 6 to 12-year-old students, which I know someone else has stated means that if we're getting up at 7 a.m., our kids need to be in bed between 7 and 9 p.m. Our high school students are not the only ones involved in extracurriculars or sports or arts. Our elementary students are also involved in all of these things, and their coaches are mainly people in the business world volunteering their time. So just because our smallest students are done with school at 2:30 does not mean their practices will be starting any earlier. Like, typically fields and gyms give precedence to high school sports first, and then our younger students have to practice after. So now our elementary athletes or arts are not starting until later in the evening, and then those kids are starting even earlier in the morning. So I don't know that this is a good call for our youngest kids.
While we're waiting on the next speaker, I would like to say that we've reached out to Noblesville, and they have told us that it's still fairly early in their year for them to have quantitative data. Some of their data which is just anecdotal, has been good, but they really don't have the numbers yet to say whether that's valid or not. So, but they are working on that. They'll be doing some surveys and responding to us when they have that information.
Hi, my name is Connie McEwen, and I'm a proud parent of 5 kids from the ages of ranging 20 years. So we actually had a daughter graduate the first graduation class of Fishers, all the way down to one in Lantern Road right now. So we have a whole gamut, and through that we have the whole personalities. So right now in high school, I'm a senior in the IB program at Fishers. We're already doing the commute back and forth with them down to one in Lantern Road who's 10. Everything that you guys are saying, I can see both sides, but the one thing is the parents. So all of this data is great, but have you guys thought about asking us out of pocket of what it's going to cost for us to make these decisions? So personal finance is kind of my industry, and I take a look at this, and we're blessed in this, don't get me wrong, we're blessed here at Hamilton Southeastern Schools. But there's a lot of us that have 2 jobs to make that blessing happen. And this is going to be a direct reflection of so much childcare needs. But on top of that, teaching our kids the value of having a job. So all of my kids will be working. That, to me, that's like huge, especially one who's going through IB. So here you have one of the most stringent programs that you guys offer. She has a job. She has an extracurricular activities. She's rocking out A+ in IB, and the girl goes to bed at 10:30 at night. It's possible if parents parent and the kids make their choices. What's not possible is always the finances that come from all the households in the district. I strongly encourage you guys to ask us if we can even afford this decision that you guys are asking us to do.
I'm a parent of 3 children, elementary as well as high school. And my question, I have 2 questions. One specific to the school start times, and then the second one, that tier 3 option B, that looks like it's going forward despite what happens with the school start times, is the way I understand it. And so with regards to transportation, option D, right now my high schoolers are picked up at 6:30 a.m., which is it's difficult. And so what I'm wondering, what I didn't see on that last slide was the pickup time for the high schoolers, if it were to remain, if this were not to go through and we stay with the current start times, how would the pickup times for the high school, particularly and maybe junior high, change? Because again, right now where we're at is 6:30 a.m. for an hour later school start time, and that's problematic for my family. But then secondly, I can't say if I support this or I don't support this. It's way too early. I'm just now coming into the conversation and looking at the communications on the website. So thank you for bringing attention to that. And it's really not a question that I had. It's more of just the importance of updating that website. I think you guys do a great job of doing that. And so thank you for making sure that the district parents that can't come to these meetings have an opportunity to chime in and see the conversation. But to comment on to the person who was here prior, the significance of the data is great, but the impact of the data on the families I don't think is well understood by me and I'm sure many others. And so seeing that continued update of those impacts and the data and those impacts and the conversation to be updated on the website is really, really important for us to be able to give very thoughtful input and then to be surveyed on how we feel about it. Because right now there's just not enough information or data to support where I might go. That's all. Thank you.
My name is Eric Grave, and I have a daughter who's 14 years old and goes to this school. A couple questions that may have been addressed that I didn't hear is, what about absenteeism? How does this affect that? What happens if a kid misses the bus and we're already at work? Does that mean we have to leave work to come get our kid now to take him to a school? Most of our, no, I shouldn't say most, but there are a lot of families out here where both parents do work. And as the lady said earlier, maybe even 2 jobs, which kind of brings me to another point of, I guess my opinion of college as well as high school is we prepare our young adults to become actual adults. And we hold them accountable, which we also need to hold them accountable to get on the bus sometimes, but some things happen, obviously. When I like to either be, I guess, hold my child accountable too when she's having that kind of wishy-washy moment when she's not feeling good in the morning. Well, Dad, I don't know if I feel like going to school today or not. And if I'm not home to look her in the eye and really see how she truly is feeling, kind of ask her some of these questions and be able to get some non-verbal responses back from her as well as verbal responses, who's to say? So I would think that would increase our absenteeism as well. Another thing when I was saying that we prepare our kids to be adults is we hold our kids accountable, and when they go into college, the freshman classes are not at 10 o'clock in the morning, they're at 8 o'clock in the morning because it's when the seniors don't want to be there. Right? I think we all remember that. I think Purdue, I don't know if they still do this, they used to have Saturday classes for the freshmen, which is why I didn't go to Purdue. Those things all are factors. But I can tell you this, most of us, or a lot of us in this room work, and you guys all have jobs. You're required to be at your job at a certain time, are you not? So our kids are going to be held to that same accountability. And that time's not going to be 10 o'clock, it's not going to be 9 o'clock, it's going to be 8 o'clock or earlier. Am I not wrong on that? Am I wrong? Right. And we need to prepare them to hold themselves accountable. And I think all the other issues I had, you guys addressed already.
Calvin Jennings Parker, Purdue grad. I did go to 7:30 a.m. I can tell you that this thing didn't do any good. No, I did check the website for some of the research materials that are up there, and one thing I saw missing was this book called Why We Sleep. This Dr. Walker has done 20 years of research on this, and I think it should be added to the list of resources up there. And actually, backs up most everything we presented here today. One thing I wanted to reiterate is one of the ones Calvin mentioned about kind of public safety for our children, and I think we want to do everything in our power to give our kids all the advantages we possibly can. But the research here is finding that there is that danger window between 3 and 5. Kids are out of school, there's time for them to do things, they're vulnerable to kind of unsupervised time. But the life expectancy of students increased after delaying the start time of school, leading to the leading cause of death between teenagers with road accidents. When the Menominee School District of Minnesota pushed their school times back from 7:30 to 8 a.m., there was a 60% reduction in traffic accidents in drivers 16 to 18 years of age. To put that in context, analog brakes only reduced the accident rates by 20 to 25%. So we have an opportunity to make a big difference in our children's lives when it comes to their safety and kind of that after-school activity time. The book also has some additional stats in here about the SAT scores and some of the things that are kind of brought up, but I think that there's hard data and research that needs to be looked at to support that we do everything possible to give our kids that amount of sleep. Kind of the previous gentleman's point, when they are older, that hour shift in circadian rhythm makes a big difference in that you can go to work earlier, you can be functional earlier, but the time they spend now sleeping later is time they don't get back for their brains to be prepared for the day. I do have copies of the book for the superintendent and all school board members, so I'll be happy to drop this off afterward. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Jen Funk. I have 3 daughters. I have a 17-year-old who is also a junior at Fisher's doing the IB program. I have a 14-year-old who's a freshman there, and I also have an 8-year-old who's in 3rd grade. So I choose span the spectrum. First, I'd like to clarify the survey that you did with the students. If I'm understanding correctly, it was 40 students at Fisher's, 40 at HSE. I'm a little disappointed from an educator standpoint that you would present a study with such little significance. And I'm disappointed that you would present that data to support this. Additionally, we are 2 working parents, and much like some of the parents here. This district is blessed with a significant number of parents that only have one outside of the home working parent. We are not in that situation, nor do we have that option. By leaving the times they are now, my high schooler could be there when my elementary child gets out of school. I am blessed that my husband is able to work from home. However, he travels out of town periodically, which means I then need to make sure everybody gets off and off to school the way they're supposed to. Currently, it's a whole lot easier in my job for me to get to work an hour late. Flipping the schedule, I would have to stay home. If I trust my high schoolers, but I would feel comfortable staying home to make sure they get off to school okay. And then I would turn around and be home 4 or 5 hours later at most to get my elementary kid off the bus. So I would lose an entire day worth of work every time he went out of town. And I don't believe that changing and flipping the district solely primarily based on sleep patterns is a good idea for our kids. That's all.
My name is Tessa Chappell. I'm a single mother. I live up here. I have 4 kids. I'm a senior, a sophomore, and 2 fifth graders at Riverside. We've been at her for 5 years, so went through some years at different elementary, but there's just a couple of points I wanted to make. And one, I don't disagree with any point any parent of younger kids has made here as far as inconvenience, things that not earlier. I would like to see you do some focus research for parents of seniors, because hands down, if I could avoid the struggles of teenagers and sleep for the cost of inconvenience to me at any point in early years, I would do it hands down. My senior is a circadian nightmare. The schedule has led to mental health challenges. Getting him to school on some days, I just don't. My goal is to get graduated. He is a smart kid, and he is not doing homework late at night. This is strictly a scheduling issue for him of getting up that early. It has required communication, and there is a segment of kids that this research actually does, and at some point you have to weigh that out a little bit. My daughter, she's 15, they're both AP students. She's spending hours inefficiently in the evening, I'm sure. She's just up late because her body tells her she can. We're also putting them in front of screens for hours every night with the midnight deadlines. I haven't thought about that. It's so true with these kids with the midnight deadline. So we put them on the screen for hours, and we want them to go to bed and sleep appropriately and get up early. It's just not going to happen. And so I don't disagree with any of the arguments. I just would like to maybe see some information, because if I sat here with 4 elementary kids, I would be opposed to this. As a senior parent, hands down, if this is what it takes to preserve the mental health of some of our teenagers, I completely agree, and I would find something to make it happen. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kara Rice, and I have 2 children. One is a 10-year-old and HIJ, and another is a 7-year-old, and he is attending 4th grade. So I have both that will be affected by this, but just overall, I've always been kind of interested in this since I'd seen research a number of years ago. And so I've been following all the research on Start School Later. It doesn't say just like start high schools later.net. It's like start schools later. So I can't say like I'm necessarily just pro flipping it, because I don't think that the elementary students should necessarily go to school that much earlier than they already do now. So I am for starting school later, but I'm also for meeting the American Academy of Pediatrics for both age groups. And so we're really much into the mental health and following that, and I think that is wonderful, and we need to continue to pursue that. And the less sleep that teens have tend to add to the depression, so I am very aware of that, and I want to make sure that my child gets sleep not only for mental health but for physical health as well. But with the younger students, I do think that they can be impacted. And at the school buses at dark, I think that, standing out there with them, but shifting everything by another 20 minutes, I don't necessarily think that we should necessarily shift the high school 20 minutes. So I know that you have that 45-minute gap that you need there, but I'd like to just encourage you to get creative on things that you might be able to do in terms of helping the parents now that have elementary school students, and being able to it's more expensive for them if they have longer after-school care. Even if they go to the Y for 2 hours and offer a busing solution home, then once the teens are there, like, we'll start to get creative and really look at things that we can do to support the children getting home and not just at a facility for care. So once the teens are home, like, we have a program that even if you charge a fee for their transportation to be provided home for the younger kids. I just think that starting schools later is great, and so definitely for it, and for the high schoolers, now that we're coming up on, my kids will be impacted more long-term starting it later. Personally, I would like it longer, but I think that looking at it, we still need to be able to meet the American Academy of Pediatrics recommendation. Like, if 12 hours is what a child needs, whether you're in grade school or whether you're in high school, then we really need to put it, that as a priority to be able to